Hello! Happy April Fools, Happy Easter, 2024, yay! Game! So, last video, I mostly worked on the world map, which is functional, but boring. So I only have 2 levels, both of which are playtested by myself. To myself. Which, if you know anything about game development, is the worst thing you can do. Because the longer something has been in the project, the harder it is to change or remove it, because you get so emotionally attached to it. The world map is also boring because it's also just white squares with lines on a gray background. But I'm too boring to fix that, because I'm a boring person. So instead, I will create new levels. Or I guess, 1 level, since that's all I have so far. So first, I made a bunch of ideas in a sketchbook, chose which one I wanted to try, and began. Now you may have noticed that in my other 2 maps, I used the default Unity Terrain tool. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know what you get up to these days. But my preferred way to make levels has been to just drag the default Unity shapes into an infinite void. You got your pills, your cubes, your cylinders, and I'm pretty sure, to some extent, I'm shooting myself in the foot, because I know that I will need to replace these with 3D models of some kind. Probably. Unless, of course, the vibe I'm going for is unfinished. My thought process has been that I can use these as prototypes and easily change them up during playtesting, but I don't know. What do you guys think? So the plan I went for was trees. The basic idea is that you have these 2 massive trees with platforms connected to each other with bridges, kind of like Endor. I kind of like the idea that it sort of naturally isolates the 2 enemies until one chooses to attack the other. You can't get a command post victory without crossing over, but that naturally leaves you open to attack on their turf. That seems like a cool dynamic to explore, and it naturally led to my newest interactable in the game, buildable bridges. These are entirely based on the bridges from Pikmin 1, not the cool new ones from Pikmin 4. The main idea is you throw a unit at an unfinished bridge, and then the unit attacks it. For each attack, they build the bridge a little. What's fun about these is that they can be built up from both sides. And when they are done, everyone knows it's done, and they meet in the middle. Next, I made these bombs that destroy bridges. They're pretty lame bombs, since minimal particles and the bridge just unceremoniously disappears. And I think you can destroy the enemy's half of the bridge from your side before the bridge is complete. Also, the bomb doesn't disappear. Look, it's got its problems. What it's mostly here for is to explore that mechanic of building bridges. Now you have to think tactically, like, where do I build my bridges? Which ones do I destroy? This might not bear itself out in future playtesting, but I think it has the makings of a good level. Playtesting this map did make me realize something. The optimum strategy might be to farm the first few plants near your unit creator thing. At the moment, the plants heal up too fast, and you can just wait for a bit rather than go search for new plants. I'll make a note to tweak that later, but I don't want to encourage sitting around. I won't go into depth on how the bridges worked, but I will talk about this little tidbit. In order for the units to cross the bridge, there has to be a nav mesh. But in order for the nav mesh to cross the whole gap, the bridges have to be complete. The way I get around this problem of having complete bridges is when the game starts, the first thing to do is set their progress to 0, so I can have complete bridges while editing and incomplete bridges while playing. Now this level is actually perfectly playable if I have 2 real players, but what happens when I introduce the NPC, our arch nemesis? How will he interact with the new mechanics? How will he not interact with them? What will we have to change about him? I guess we'll talk about that in the next video. Thanks for watching, and peace be with you.